All right, so we got 31 out there. So it's good to see you all out there, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to come hang out with us. It's greatly I really appreciate it. So welcome to our first town hall or community meeting, rather. I guess town hall sounds a little bit too corporate, but welcome to the Trail's first community meeting. Hopefully, you're all excited to be here. I know everyone up here on the stage is. Um, so to kick things off, what I'd like to do is give the admin and staff teams just a quick minute to introduce themselves and let you guys know what their respective lanes are going to be. Um, so we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. So we'll make sure we keep the intros brief. And I'll go first since I'm already speaking, I guess. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Teague, and I am the server owner and one half of the development team. Morg, who you guys will meet in a minute, is makes up the other half. He's the better half. So you guys can put me on record for saying that since you're all recording. So that's me. Who wants to go next?
Hmm?
No,
Oh.
you're supposed to point and then.
All right, Shalom, you go next.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shalom. I'm an admin around here. I am the community manager, and that means I got to deal with you people a lot. And don't try my patience, cause yeah, I'm really excited to have all of you here. I'm so excited. Just the response has been amazing, and I can't wait to RP with all of you crazy people. All right.
Rich,
My
you're up.
name.
Oh,
Oh,
Oob, I'm sorry. No, you go. You go, please.
no, now I feel awkward. Ugh. Okay, I'm just go. My name's Uber, Jazer. I don't care. Just call me Uber. I'm one of the admins here, and I oversee horse training, and maybe a little bit of native RP here and there. Um, and yes, Uber. Okay. And I'm also happy to be here. A lot of new faces and a lot of old faces and faces I haven't seen in about a year. So I'm really excited to see everybody. Okay, bye.
Uber's also going to be probably leading up our YMAP team whenever the dust settles on things. She's taken an interest in that, and at least I assume she's still interested in it. But she's been doing a really great job.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, no, nah, I'm not gonna spill the tea, but I think certain groups may be excited as to what they'll find in the server.
All right, Richard.
Hey, I'm Rich T. One of the admins. One of my lanes are law and judicial with a love tap towards the crim side of things. I am also happy to be here, and thank you.
Smelly.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Smelly. I'm head staff and I answer tickets.
Tricky.
Sorry, you got me as I'm packing my suitcase. Hi guys, my name's Tricky or Trout. Just call me Tricky. I'm along with Pat and Richie. I'll be part of the judicial crew, mostly as the defense lawyer, but most of you will probably see Rick Roxton running around again. So I can't wait to get on the trail with all of you.
Morg.
Before I get started, I just want to say that every time y'all say Tricky's name, Run DMC starts up in my head, so please stop.
Same.
No, I'm Morg. I write code, mainly for the server, mainly the stuff that Teague breaks. But yeah, that's what I do. I write code.
I do break a lot of stuff, and Morg is always there to set me straight. So we certainly owe him a lot. Lassie, Lasombra.
Hi guys, Lasombra. I'm in charge of video editing and taking all your awesome clips and doing little montages for the month. I'm also staff here, and basically I just do what I'm told.
Patton.
Hey everybody. So I'm Patton, and like Lassie, I do what I'm told. I guess my lanes are judicial and testicle jokes.
Mainly Rich's testicles.
100% true. That's some heavy meta, Teague.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. So that's everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So just a quick recap. As far as staff goes, we've got Lassie, Patton, Smelly, and Tricky. They're going to be everyone's first line of support. So make sure that you're reaching out to those guys for any items that you need, and then they'll escalate up to the admin team as needed. So I guess first things first, since we're done with the introductions, I'd like to take a minute to just address the elephant in the room, if you will, which is Sundance. I believe most of, if not all of you, played on that server at some point in time. And whatever your experience was, good or bad, it's your experience, and I 100% respect that. But I would like to say that this is not Sundance. Okay. So with that said, let's focus on the present, which is our friends and family. So as of right now, we'll open things up in about a week from today. So March 3rd. Our intent with friends and family is to continue our testing while also facilitating a RP environment. So think of it as a extended beta, if you will. All of you that choose to play here will still RP and start telling your stories just as you normally would on as if we were live. However, we'll hold periodic sensing sessions on how to improve things and solicit new feedback for both the front end and the back end of things. So friends and family will also help us to refine our processes and guides. And it'll also give each of you a chance to help us establish the foundation that we'll expand upon later. So this group that launches with us on the 3rd will hopefully work toward building that foundational knowledge base that we could pass on to new players once we go live. So in my opinion, it's a big task. It's important, but we seem to have a pretty solid crew here from what I could tell, and I know you guys are gonna be awesome, right? Awkward silence. Awkward silence.
Oh, we were supposed to answer that?
Mate,
Okay.
turn to them, Morris.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's
Yay!
in this, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what was the
there we
question?
go.
Oh god, yeah. It's great.
All right. So let's look at the agenda. So we've handled introductions, the server objectives. As I said, think of this as an extended beta, right? The intent behind friends and family is to help us refine things both on the front end and the back end, right? We still encourage RP, but there will be some of you that are pulled off for working groups. We'll probably stand up a channel for general recommendations, and with that, what I would say is if someone puts in a recommendation, just take it for what it is, right? We don't need to turn it into like an argument session or anything like that. We each all have our opinions, right? And those opinions should be voiced, and let the admins just kind of sort through that. If someone comes in with something silly, then I mean we'll just ignore it. No need to turn it into a big thing or anything like that. But I certainly do want to give everyone a platform to voice their opinions as far as recommendations or ways to improve the server are concerned. Let's see. What have we got next? Schedule for launch. We just spoke about that. So we'll be launching Friends and Family on the 3rd. As far as when we'll go live to the general public, that there's a big TBD on that, right? It all depends on how Friends and Family shakes out. one of the things that I'm really interested in is testing the stability of the server. So for those of you that have been on the server, hopefully a lot of stuff looks familiar, because this is a build that some of you are already familiar with, and I like to think of that as a stress test. So I'm pretty confident in the overall stability of the server. There's always going to be room for improvement on things, but hopefully nothing major breaks. I don't expect it will, but that's what friends and family is for, right? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, just periodically throw in like, yeah, right?
Yeehaw.
Yes.
We have it rehearsed.
Oh yeah, the Mexico Bridge is definitely going to fall on your head there, Shatner. Let's see. Documents and where to find them. So we're currently in the process of building out or refining that the front end of things. So community guides and the how tos and all those documents are going to be trickling in. And we'll certainly probably tap some of you guys on the shoulder to help out with that. So if anyone wants to contribute to anything like that, certainly just put in a ticket, volunteer yourself. Any and all help is going to be more than welcome. I would say just bear with us as we start putting that stuff together. We've my primary focus has been on the back end of things, and then also building a really horrible website. So
Limberjacks.
yeah, the Limberjacks, which are a thing. It was like an 80s band. We are the Limberjacks. Also, before I forget, one of the things that I'm going to do right after this meeting is I will do a live demo down in Gen Chat. So I'll pop down and share my screen and just do a live demo. And that's just going to be just a real informal informal session rather. So you guys can see the server in advance, and I'll show off some of the cool stuff that Morg and I have been working on, and then field any questions that you guys have.
Could I just circle back to the videos real quick and guides?
Sure.
So Lassie's put in a bunch of work and has made some really, really cool videos, and they're going to start popping up on the in the community guides channel. Is that right, Lass?
Yeah, that's right. And they're also
Yeah.
on the Trial RP YouTube channel.
www.youtube.com/TTRP.
Yep.
With that, one of the things that we're going to do, we're actually going to take that guide channel, and we're going to split it, and we're going to split it into two separate channels. So we're going to have one for, I don't want to say formal, because I don't think there's much of anything formal about what we do, but we'll have a channel for guides that Lassie are working on, so guides that the admin teams put out. Then also we're going to have a community guide, right? So that'll be a chance for community members to go and just put tips and tricks and things like that on how to, if you found something like an easier way of doing something, not any exploits or anything like that, but just things to help new folks along as far as navigating the server is concerned. And also, I'm hoping that that'll be one of the first spots that new folks hit whenever they have a question. They'll ping community guides or community support just to help with that first level of triage or first level of troubleshooting things. Okay, let's see. RP roles, RP expectations, and Discord expectations. This one's always fun, right? So we are shooting for an actual 18 plus server, right? So 18 plus, what does that mean? It means that I am comfortable allowing no, not ERP emotes, Piggy. He's so dirty. That's the first thing his mind goes. But one of the things that I'm really interested in seeing is I want to allow the community to tackle more mature subjects in RP within reason, right? And also, I don't know how many of you guys are fans of Deadwood.
Me, but the movie was shit.
Yeah. The movie was garbage. So one of the things that I would like to see with that is I'm okay with folks getting gritty in their with their RP. Like if someone walks into a saloon and the saloon owner like just starts calling you a limber dick cocksucker. Don't take offense to it, right? If that's the style that the person wants to play, just roll with it, right? And if you find that that person is completely intolerable, just don't give them your business. Just walk away. But yeah, I want to try that. I want to experiment with that, allowing people to tackle more mature character types or stereotypes and topics. Of course, there are going to be some things that are just absolutely off limits, right? So obviously, anything relating to sexual assault of any kind is going to be a no go, right? For obvious reasons. Racism's not going to be allowed. Um, and I mean, I'm okay if I'm not okay with racism at all, but I'm okay if people come up with these derogatory terms that they can apply to everyone as a whole, right? Versus just a specific race of people, right? So if you wanted if you wanted to call people waterheads, right? It's something you could apply to everybody, right? And it doesn't necessarily single out a specific race or culture or anything like that, right? So get creative with stuff. Take some liberties, but also be tactful with it, right? Um, and then as far as the overall like expectations for RP, I think everyone here, at least the folks that I know, you've been around the RP scenes for a while. You know what's good and what and what isn't, right? I certainly don't want to see people just memeing around, um, you know, rooftop jumping or dancing on light poles or getting into fist fights in the middle of town for no reason or just running around shirtless and stuff like that. I mean, if you guys if anyone wants to do that, there are plenty of public servers out there where you can go and take your shirt off and chase people around. All right, that's certainly not the tone that we're looking to set here. Anyone else have anything as far as RP expectations go?
Nope.
I think you nailed it.
Very cool. That's the first time I did that. Let's see. Um, medical RP and injury RP. Shalom, I'll let you take this one.
Alrighty. Yeah, we've got some really fantastic stuff lined up with that. We have the incredible Choi, who is going to take on the role of the Surgeon General. I'm very grateful that she has accepted that role. We also have good old Dr. Jeb Monroe, who will be running the hospital. We will be starting out with using the Welcome Center in Strawberry as the hospital. Although with some RP for some really cool people, hopefully we can somehow have ourselves a purpose-built hospital made someday. Yeah, so we're going to be setting in, late 1800s. So please keep all of that in mind. We do have a guide ready to be published that will kind of help you pick your injuries, because we do expect good RP from injuries. Even if no one sees you get injured, just pretend somebody's watching, Spock or somebody is watching.
Yeah, so
yeah.
with that said, on the topic of watching, one of the things that I've discussed in depth with the admin team is those boundaries as far as the admin privileges and the player base go, right? So no one here is going to be no clipping around and spying on you or using a ped to get close and eavesdrop on conversations or anything like that, right? Except for Choi, right? Choi likes to run around like as a little crawfish, right? So if you see a crawfish running around anywhere, more than likely it's Choi, all right? But no, certainly, I mean, we don't. We're not going to have any of those issues. If for whatever reason, you think that you get paranoid or or anything like that, feel free to open up a ticket, right? And we can always discuss it, right? But that is a hard limit that I've set. So hopefully we won't have any of those issues. And if so, just come directly to me, right? And we'll sort it out. Another thing too is um, our admin teams and staff teams are not going to be in positions of authority on the server, right? I think in the beginning it'll be a necessity just due to the low population that we have, but the intent is to phase those admins and those staff members out of those positions, like legitimately phase them out, right? Not talk about it, but we're actually going to do it, right? Yes, exactly, Rich, and I certainly expect everyone there to hold us to that. And especially as the server grows and we bring in more people, right? Because I don't want there's always that it doesn't matter how much integrity someone has on the front end things as far as being an admin or staff go. There's always that potential illusion for biasness if something goes sideways, right? Or if someone is part of a court case and the defendant loses, right? Then there's always the chance that they could scream admin abuse, and that just causes a whole nother level of issues that aren't really conducive to a productive environment. So, and because of that, and we realize that's an issue, and it's been an issue on quite a few servers in the past. So one of the things that or one of our goals is to push everything to the players. Um, to include, I mean, everything from the government to the judicial system to local LEOs. We want the players to be able to handle all of that. And we will have an election system stood up for those publicly elected officials. Morgan and I, at some point in time, we'll get together and we'll noodle on a in-game voting system, which should be pretty cool. We haven't discussed that just yet, but we'll eventually put something together so that you guys can actually go and vote in game whenever election time rolls around. Admins also are not going to use their admin perms to give themselves any type of advantage in RP, right? So they're not going to be spawning in money. They're not going to be spawning in items for themselves. Now, I did say that the folks that have helped out with building the core foundation of the server, I did give them properties as a thank you because I'm not paying anyone, right? So you might see an admin that has a house already, right? But that's because of the amount of work that they've put into helping me build this. But outside of that, they're not going to be using their perms for to give themselves a leg up on anything. And once again, if you see something that you think is fishy, open a ticket. Let's talk about it. All right. Okay. Let's see. What do we got next? Expectations for seeking allowed listed jobs. So with the way that allowed listed jobs are going to work, rather. Yes.
Sorry, T. You just skipped over like a whole bunch of things.
What I skip over?
Well, me, mate. Number one.
What?
Look at number 4.
Point B. Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh, I went down to MedRP, didn't I? Yeah, speak up. Come on, you guys.
I did. Okay.
Well, while they're arguing, I just want to point out that Teague said admins aren't going to give themselves a leg up. I'm not an admin, so just want to point that out.
Oh god.
So, expectations for criminals and law. So, the approach that we've gone at unilaterally on the server is 1898, 1899, right? Period appropriate stuff. So the things that you'll be seeing from the LEO perspective is that it's 1898, 1899, right? It's a little bit rough. So if you're beaking off incels, you're gonna be having a nap, like you're gonna get hit. The modernization of law is not going to be a thing here. It's more authentic, more rugged of an experience. in addition to all that, the way that excuse me, the way that the judicial system has been built with Patton and Shatner, who's going to and Tricky, who Tricky will be doing defense, I think. Is that right, Tricky? And then Patton will be our Attorney General. Sorry, not Patton. Sorry, Shatner will be our Attorney General. We've created these laws, and there's a wide variance in punishment or of them, both financial and time. Because what we do not want to see is if some is everything going to the most extreme sentencing. It's super lame. It's not cool. So we want that wide variance for repeat offenders as well. The other thing we'll be wanting to see as well is from LEOs is there's going to be more community-based policing. So for the crims that are caught, they'll be popped into county cells. Misdemeanors are all dealt with in-house, and then felonies will be in Sisika. Speaking of Sisika, there are things to do in Sisika. Things to occupy your time. We have poker, and we have a telegram system. We have a commissary where you can get beans and water. We've got a cell block, so there's actual stuff to do. In addition to that, we have a work release program. So if you're sentenced to however many minutes in Sisika, you'll be able to pick up a sledgehammer and then interact with it the same way as you did. You'd equip it, go to a rock, and interact with it. Each cycle of that takes off 2 minutes, to be reduced to the minimum of 5 minutes on your sentence. So just because you were given, X amount of time in Sisika, it doesn't mean you have to serve that entire time there. You're also free to take yourself out of there at any time. So if you want to stay there a bit longer, or you have to take care of IRL things, you're not kind of, next time you log in, you're not going to be just stuck there until someone can come pick your ass up and take it. On that same flip, that's all the LEO side. On the crim side of things, a lot of things ultimately come down to pacing. So there will be that expectation and that give and take within the crim thing. We'll be keeping an eye on folks that maybe committing 10 or 5 to 10, like an absurd amount of numbers of like highway robberies and that kind of thing. So we're going to be wanting to expect more give and take from the crims, and that's going to be coming at it from the LEO side, because it's not going to be like, oh, we finally caught you, max penalty off your trot. Have I missed anything? I don't want to there are crim activities here, but I don't know how far we want to go into it.
Yeah, I don't want to give away all of the all the secret sauce, but I really like what Piggy just put in there. Everyone is your friend, and it's trying to have fun. Don't take it personal, dummy. I really like that last piece there, right? Don't take it personal. So as far as crim RP goes, Rich, I think you're spot on there. One of the things we don't want to see people committing these massive crime sprees, or we don't want to see people that have this suicide by sheriff mentality, right? Be smart with your criminals, and just like any other character, right? Have a story, have a motivation behind a character doing what it is that he or she does, other than that that tired. I want to watch the world burn because I watched the Joker one time and I thought it was cool, right? It's so tired, right? But get creative, do some really cool stuff. I'm also a big fan of vigilante justice, right? So say, Mr. Criminal A is just shitlording around town, robbing people left and right. You rob enough people and they decide to band together and come after you. as long as they follow the group rule, I'm fine with it, right? As long as
Yeah,
they keep the groups to 6.
yeah, and in that same vein, there'll be uh, each of the jurisdictions will have their own vibe. It's so we'll be we have badges like physical item badges that you can move around in space. It's super cool for characters that may or may not have boobs, or so there's not phasing in on things. It's pretty dope. So the LEOs, if they need to make numbers up, it's like, oh, you know what, we can't go after so and so. I'm just going to hang on the porch. No. We got badges. So if you're a civ and you're working on your ranch and you've got an LEO that you're friendly with, comes up and go, look, we're going after Choi. It's about time that she's brought in for her crimes against Rich T.
Humanity.
Yeah, humanity as a whole. Be like, yo, get if here's a badge, let's go hunting. We want to see more things like that. And then, like I said, each jurisdiction, each county is going to have its own vibe. There are the hierarchy. There is sheriff, deputy sheriff, and a deputy. That's all there is, and they answer to themselves and their community. The marshal service are federally bound. They're all the same rank, and they hold no IC power over any of the LEOs. So what we're really hoping for is for players and with the sheriffs and all of those things to really create like mini biomes in each of their jurisdictions. It's okay to come in with a long arm in Valentine, but if you go into Blackwater, you better stow it, otherwise someone's the law's gonna have a pop at you.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that that I really don't want to see is overly aggressive acts toward LEOs, right? So keep in mind that the LEOs, it's not a sexy job. Not a lot of people want to do it. The few people that do, they do it because they dig the position, right? And I believe LEOs, much like with it can be sexy, but most of the time it's not, right? So don't beat up on the LEOs, right? If don't go into Valentine and kidnap the sheriff because he looked at you funny, and then drag him around the map, right? That stuff is just silly.
Well, and I will say this: if someone does do that, it's $18.99. Be prepared.
Mhm.
Like, be prepared. If anyone goes after an LEO or targets an LEO, good luck.
I mean, if the conflict is organic and it happens naturally, then it's fine. I mean, there should be criminal on LEO conflict, right? But it shouldn't be over the top, right? Because we want to keep our LEOs where they're at, right? So don't make them quit. Is basically what it comes down to, right? Because I mean, without the LEOs, then criminals are just lame, and vice versa, right? Without criminals, LEOs are lame, right? So I really would like to see a dynamic environment where both sides of the fence they complement each other. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, last thing on criminal RP, and then I'll stop talking about it. Be sensible with stuff, right? One of the things I don't want to see, I don't want to see a group of criminals hanging out in Blackwater with masks on, just waiting for that lone stranger to walk into town, and then they go and hem them up behind the bank, or as they're walking into the into the general store or something like that, right? Once again, just be sensible.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, we're going to move to the next point. That is expectations for horse training and Native American RP. In regards to horse training, please don't burn us out. Okay, there's going to be 3 trainers around the star once everybody is able to get in. I want to clarify a few things for people. One, be reasonable with your expectations for horse trainers. We're trying to push a more balanced and paced and more realistic horse training process for this server. There are people that have already been enlisted, including myself. We are putting in a lot of work and a lot of knowledge, coming up with documents, papers, putting a lot of passion and effort into this. So we are expecting that you all respect horse trainers when they tell you, look, this horse isn't going to be ready for a real life day, or it's going to be ready in maybe 6 in-game hours, or something like that. You know, also an hour in real life is 1 day in game. Thank you. Be open to participating in that role play as well. I know that in some servers it was a pretty big thing where you give your horse to a trainer. They might give you a loaner, or you might ride away with somebody else, and then you call it a day. Mechanically speaking, we don't really get to do a lot of role play because we're sitting here playing the mini games, trying to get the mechanical aspect out the way so that we can actually do more in-depth role play. Horse trainers are going to have different ways of, getting that training out the way. I won't go into detail because I prefer you all to find out IC. But if given the opportunity to participate and given the opportunity to also invest in that horse that your character will be riding and using for different jobs and things like that, be open to doing it. It can open a wealth of role play for you, and it also gives us something to do rather than just kind of clicking around the horse and then hoping the best, that if somebody comes around, we're able to actually talk with them and interact and things like that. Also, please try not to expect a fully trained horse in an hour. We're trying to move away from certain mindsets that we've seen in other servers, but we also don't want you to wait a week for a trained horse. So if there are certain programs or certain activities that are proposed to your character, be open to taking them up and seeing what you can come with, and you may see a reward for that. At the end of the day, I don't want any role play job being treated as a mechanic. So if we're asking you or trying to offer some role play for you, please be willing to take it. We want to RP2 and push our own stories, but we also want to make sure you get your horses trained as well. With Native American roleplay, I'm going to keep it brief because I literally typed out an entire Native roleplay guide. That's, of course, optional. You don't have to read it. But if you read it, if you acknowledge it, then one, it lets me know that I'm doing something right. And two, it lets me know that there are going to be certain things, certain misconceptions, frequently asked questions and things like that that have pretty much been answered via that document. When it comes to Native American roleplay, you need to be respectful. You need to avoid stereotypical tropes. You need to do your research because there is no excuse for ignorance. I know certain tribes and certain resources are not available to the public, but make the effort, please. Things like masks, for example, things like wearing sashes, things like trying to have we're going against the government mentality, things like, being unable to speak English when at this point English is a very prominent part of Native American history for a lot of tribes at this point. Please do your research. We want to see better quality when it comes to Native American RP, but we also don't want to police it. And if you're doing your research, if you are acknowledging the stereotypes and reading over the guide and making sure that, you're doing right by your portrayals, we won't have to police anything. I will say, since it's already essentially been stated in the guide when it comes to land ownership for Native Americans, and it's already in the rules, there may or may not be certain locations that tribes can claim, but there will be expectations and rules for that. So if you do want to look into that, after you've made the character and after it's opened up fully, be sure to make a ticket and we can talk about the rules regarding that. But let's try to avoid a tribe coming in and trying to take over Wapiti, because Wapiti's already established. Thank you. But other than that, those are the points. Be sure to read the Native RP guide and also read the rules as it pertains to groups and things of that nature. And if you have any questions, open a ticket or ask some community support, and we'll try to get those answered for you.
Yeah, and we've also got a couple of additional like special things for for those Native RPers out there. For starters, traditional Native American headdresses, right? Um, TPs that are actually functional, so you can stand up a TP and go inside of it. Um, and it's not just like a teleport spot where it TPs you inside of, and the collision kind of pushes you out, right? So you can actually stand up a TP and use it. There are going to be a couple of other things that come a little later on down the line, but the bottom line is this, right? Morg and I are of the mindset that we want to develop, create stuff, and play games and have fun. And as long as there is you guys are putting out good RP, right? We certainly don't mind building things for you guys, right? So the more effort you put into the RP, then the more effort we'll put into ensuring that there are cool things on the server to continue facilitating that RP. All right.
Yeah. That's it.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so that's it. That's all. That's all.
All right. So we touched on MedRP, which I jumped ahead a while ago. Thank you for smacking my
And there
hand
was
on that.
there were some still things to finish
Oh, please
with
go ahead.
that one. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on the fact that we will have certified medical people, and we are making room for uncertified medical people as well. Not just like with Native RP, who we do have a couple of leaders who have just joined and accepted those positions. I'm very excited about. These are all people you're going to need to find in character. So if this is something that you're interested in pursuing, then go and RP with people and find out who they are. But something that Teague has made for us that I'm really, really excited about, that I know you guys are just going to want to play with for a while when you get into the server. In our F6 menu, there are overlays. They include being dirty, or smaller things like a busted lip or a black eye, but they also include some pretty serious injuries. So when you come in to get medical treatment, you can actually have that overlay on your body, and they are all stackable. So you can display a small injury or a really serious one, and that will help us to role play effectively. What we're doing when we treat you. So please have a good look at those. They're pretty amazing, and we're really lucky to have it. It will help us, for one thing, eliminate some of the screen breaking statuses that some people like to display. So yeah, exactly. So Teague has given us something that's really cool and unique. I can't wait for you guys to see it and try it, and I can't wait to help you do, lessen your injuries that you have presented me with. Scars and stuff, like if you want to do scars after an injury, that'll be at the barber still. So, but everybody knows how to deal with that. But the overlays are something that you can do on the fly in character. You can close them out or eliminate them as time, like right, in the moment, and it's beautiful. So I look forward to being able to RP with you crazy people and see what you come up with.
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the coolest things that I've done. If I can brag on myself for a minute, and as Shalom was saying, it really eliminates the need for that wall of text where someone's status. I've got a broken arm and a busted lip, and my cat peed on my leg. Right, something that stretches across the entirety of the screen. So this should help mitigate that to an extent, but it's still really cool. I think you guys will dig it. and it's certainly okay to play around with that and just to see what the different overlays look like. Of course, we ask that you do it when you're not in a populated area or something like that. If you want to check out the overlays, just isolate yourself, look through them and things like that. And there are like severe injuries that you can apply to yourself. And as Shalom was saying, don't give yourself a severe injury and then go to the doctor like, yeah, I fell off my horse and it looks like well, in reality, it looks like you've got the bubonic plague, right? Because that's just silly. Okay. Anything else that I skipped over?
No.
I've been
Okay,
watching
okay.
diligently. No, you're on point.
All right. So now we are caught up. So expectations for seeking allowed listed jobs. So like anything else there, we want to try and handle things in character as much as possible. So if you want a job, try and find someone that already has that job and then talk to them about about the job. Like, how do you get hired on? And, they'll potentially take you as an apprentice and teach you how to do that job. We will, for the for server health purposes, we're going to keep a tracker of folks that have whitelisted jobs, or I'm sorry, allowed listed jobs, because we want to make sure that there isn't a oversaturation. So if you want a job and it's full up, then we'll just put you in queue, right? And we'll do our best to ensure that you're able to take that position whenever one opens up. But try to avoid like day one going in and being like, oh, I'm going to be a gunsmith, right? And then as soon as you create your character, you run to the gun shop there in Valentine and start harassing old Lassie there, and forcing him into to taking you on. So as far as allowed listed jobs go, there is, and you guys here on the team will have to help me out because I'm sure I'll forget something. But there is a bartending job. So with bartenders, you're actually able to serve booze, smokes, and food to your customers. It's not something where you have to like right click, give it from your menu. You actually have a job menu that allows you to pass that stuff to people. And I'll demo that here in a little bit. The blacksmith. So blacksmiths are able to create blades, such as like hatchets and tomahawks and all of the cool stuff like you would have seen in story mode, like the cleavers and machetes and things like that, and then different types of knives, like the jawbone knife, the miner knife, and things like that. Gunsmith. So gunsmithing will be a thing. We'll have weapon modifications as well as weapon creations. So there'll be a limited stock in the AI store for players. And if you want anything super sexy, you'll have to go to a gunsmith and ask them to make it for you. They may send you out on a mission to get supplies, right? So iron is going to be a pretty hot commodity on the server because it's going to be used in a lot of stuff. But yes, it's a really granular blacksmithing and gunsmithing position there, which if we have time tonight, I'll certainly show that off as well. Doctors, of course, are another allowed listed job. There is, as Shalom was saying earlier, there is a miscellaneous medical job for folks that want to play a like unconventional healer of sorts, be that a criminal doctor or native. There's a position for that. Train conductors are going to be a thing, as well as cinema. So if anyone wants to take on the cinema job, you can show shows at the theater in Saint Denis. There are about 15 different shows that you can put on. There are obviously the LEOs are going to be an allowed listed job. What am I forgetting here, guys?
Horse
No, no.
trainers.
Oh yeah, horse train. Yeah, horse training. I thought you were just talking about that. Yeah, so horse training.
Well, there's all.
Blacksmith.
Did you mention that stupid train thing?
Yeah, you said
I
train
did
conductor.
mention the stupid
Right.
train thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you mentioned the stupid train thing.
The stupid trains.
Train conductors, they're the worst.
Literally the worst. Oh, newspaper. Do you
Oh
say
yeah,
that?
newspaper. Yeah, journalism is going to be a thing. So we have an in-game newspaper. So we've already got one journalist that has raised his hand. So certainly looking for more. I think it'd be great to have a couple of different newspapers going on at the same time and see the differences in the not only the writing styles but the stories that they tell. Those will be in-game items. So the journalist creates the paper, and then he or she will sell that paper. Character stores will be a thing. So folks that want to open up a storefront, you'll do that by first having RP that leads up to it, and then putting in a ticket. Right. We'll ask that you put together like a semi business plan. Let us know what your intent is, and then you can create a store of your own. And so whatever goods it is that you're keen on.
Mhm.
Coach drivers, if someone wants to start a stagecoach business, you're more than welcome to do so. There is a selection of coaches in the wagon shop that are reserved just for you. So you can take maybe those folks that are waiting for their horses to be trained. You could offer your services and uh, and taxi those folks around.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Um, and I think that's it for right now. So things that are going to be coming in the future will be like a restaurant job, um, a trapper job. So if whenever you guys hit the server and you're going through the clothing menu, you'll notice that all of the animal pelt clothing is not in the clothing store, as well as those animal masks. None of that stuff is going to be in the clothing store. And there's nothing malicious behind that. The idea is that eventually that stuff will be craftable by folks that have the trapper job, right? So they will be responsible for going out. So let's say if they want to make like a raccoon skin cap, right? They'll be responsible for going out and hunting a raccoon, killing it, harvesting the hide, then tanning that hide, and then crafting a cap, and then it'll be like an inventory item that they in turn can take and sell. And of course, it also offers a couple of different RP streams. So so you as a player, you want a insert animal here type cap, right? Go find a trapper, and if they're doing their job right, maybe they'll take you out on a hunt, right? So there's a story to go behind this cool cougar pelt hat that you got. And also, I thought that it would be really funny for those that are, well, we got to protect the bison. In order to get a bison cap, well, you got to go and you got to kill a bison, right? So there's a little bit of uh, it's kind of bittersweet.
Would you hit me?
Exactly.
Oh god.
I'd hunt you. I'd hunt you
No,
real hard.
Yeah, that
I
honest,
just choked on my burger, dude.
yeah,
That
that
killed me.
I say that jokingly, right? That wasn't done by design. The intent isn't to isn't to make fun of people or anything like that. It's just the way that worked out. But regardless, it should still be a really cool job for folks. And then we've got a slew of other things that we want to push through, but we're going to take our time and make sure that we think through those items as far as releasing things go. I think what we're going to do is we'll be pushing out like theme based releases, right? So instead of pushing out functions and onesies and twosies, we want to make sure that everything that we push out correlates back to a specific theme, right? Um, Yeah, so I think that's it as far as allowed lists of jobs go. There's plenty of other jobs for folks to do that want to just play a civvy. I would encourage you just to get out and explore the map. You've got the traditional gold panning, mining, lumberjacking. I went and created a delivery circuit on the map. So I know on some servers, if you're running delivery jobs, say you take a delivery job in Valentine, you run it down to Blackwater, and you drop your wagon off, then you're stuck, right? You got to beat feet and go back to Valentine or find another other delivery spot. Well, with this with the system that I put together here, all the delivery spots are connected, so you could run a complete circle around the map. And so you have the potential. Smelly, what did it come out to? Like $75 or $100 an hour if you run the entirety of the circuit.
Yeah, something like that. Around 75 to 100.
Yeah. So yeah, just get out and explore things on the map. See what there is to do. I think the last item that I have here before we get into the questions is communication, right? So communication is always a big thing with communities like this, and I encourage you all to just talk to each other, right? Both in game and out of game, right? You'll be surprised how many issues you can resolve just by having a conversation with someone. I think there's a lot of sentiment that gets lost in text, and it's easy to easy to interpret things wrong, especially if you're already in like a negative mindset, right? It's easy to read too much into things. So certainly take time to talk to each other, especially if there's conflict there, right? Try and execute those simple conflict resolution skills on your own before submitting a ticket to staff and to admin, right? Of course, we're certainly here to help you guys and to help work through any problems that you might encounter. One of the first things that I know, if you come to me with an issue, one of the first things I'm going to ask is, have you talked to this person? If not, then why? And if the answer is, they make me uncomfortable or I just can't do it, I mean, that's fine, right? But yeah, you're right, Piggy. We're all adults. Just talk to each other. And so that's the type of community that I'm looking to build here, right? I'll be very blunt in saying that I have very little tolerance for any bush league, middle school drama horseshit, right? I don't dig it, right? So at any point in time, if if I see people sharing DMs and in chat, or participating in room and stuff like that, then I mean, you're out of here. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? I certainly don't have the appetite for it, and I know that most of the admin and the staff teams don't. They're of the same mindset, right? So just be cognizant of that stuff, as far as like spreading rumors and just toxicity and things like that. I think. Oh, also one of the things that I'm going to institute will be a TIG ticket. One, because it sounds really cool.
No. It needs to be called a ticket.
A ticket, yeah, a ticket.
Oh,
Even
God.
better.
I'm on it, fam.
But what that's going to be is it's going to be an opportunity for you guys to reach out to me directly, right? So if you have an issue with someone or a perceived issue with someone on the staff team or someone on the admin team, or you just don't feel comfortable, you can reach out to me personally. Keep in mind, I'm a busy guy, right? And if I don't respond right away, it's not me ignoring you, right? I've just got a lot of stuff that I'm working on. But I certainly, if anyone does use that, I know in advance that I certainly do appreciate the confidence, and I will do my best to help you out, as long as it isn't something stupid. Okay, I think that's it as far as the agenda goes.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did
No,
it.
Rich. We did it.
You did it.
We did it.
Okay. So let's start tackling some of these questions here. I'm going to go through this at speed, but if I need to push pause, certainly let me know. All right. Will streaming be allowed during friends and family? Certainly. I actually encourage you to stream if you guys are streamers. Feel free to pop open the stream and get started. I will say that there are some things that you might encounter on the server that aren't necessarily going to fall within Twitch TOS. So be cognizant of that. There are nude peds in the bathhouses, right? So if you encounter a nude ped, I guess just be aware of that, right? If you come upon a situation that it either makes you uncomfortable or makes your community uncomfortable, just turn around, walk the other way, right? While we do appreciate our streamers, one of the things that I don't want to do, and I certainly don't mean any offense to this, I don't want to put guardrails up on the majority for the to placate the minority, if that makes sense. What was the decision made by staff regarding bringing over previous characters and potentially their stories? So the thing with that is, I certainly don't mind people rolling their characters over, but keep in mind that this is a net new state, right? So if, for instance, your character on another server was like the Scourge of Blackwater, right? Just rename that town, right? You can say, hey, in another state, I rained hell on Pine Level, right? Just change the name of the state, and don't just because you're carrying over another player, that doesn't mean that other players that you've previously interacted with are going to choose to carry on that storyline as well, right? So if you see someone, you walk up to them and like, "Hey, Bobby, how's it going?" and that person's just like, "Sorry, don't know who you are." Right? Take it for what it is, right? You can't force your storylines on anyone just as much as you wouldn't want someone to force their storylines upon you. So with that said, certainly okay to bring your characters over with stories, but just change any names of major locations or anything like that, because this is a net new state. And don't name it like New Austin 2 or New Blackwater 2 or anything like that. Just get creative. Will milk and farming be a thing? Farming will definitely be a thing. So you've got your standard crops that you'll be able to farm. The big change to that is you cannot farm in city limits, right? So that is an absolute no go. Milk, right now, no. There is absolutely nothing to milk. I mean, you can certainly RP going out and milking cows or goats or anything like that, but there's no mechanic behind it. Will there be placeable scenes? And if so, what will they look like? There will be scenes. So the scene function will be for those of you that were there at the beginning of Sundance. That will be the scene script that we're using, right? So you hit a key and you bring up like this little tracker, and you can position it on your screen where you want to place the scene. Then you type out the text, and the scene sticks. Scenes will probably, until Morgan and I come up with a better function, scenes will probably be wiped every week, just to keep things from getting getting silly. So will we need to clear all scenes every login? No. I mean, no, you won't need to. I mean, you have the option to hide scenes, right? But there's no need to. There won't be a need to clear them. Let's see. Will there be a way to make it so that other players don't steal your property and sell it behind your back?
Can I jump in on that one?
Yes, please, because I have no context.
Okay, so that's in reference to something that happened on a different server, right? So, just speaking from so the way that we're handling property here is a little bit different. We're going to have a mortgage broker and lender in order to help people. No, I'm just going to steal everything of yours, Joy. I'm just going to admin abuse the hell out of it and just make your life miserable on the server. So we're gonna have that. All house sales are basically going to go through the government, because on different servers, what has ended up invariably happening is that a player will have a home, and then they'll either just log on to pay taxes, or they will decide to leave the server and they will just give that property to a friend. And there's no real story behind that. There's no pride of ownership behind it. So we're gonna be switching the script on that one, just to make it more equal to folks. Yeah. So in short, if anything around this happens, that a player thinks that something's been stolen, or and has proof for that, we have a very, very robust group and a talented group of people in judicial. So put in, start with it going from there, and it's going to be all in the judicial's hands. So make your case for them that you think someone's taken this, that, and the other. So go at it from that end of it. But yeah, property's being held different. It is being ran differently, with the hope of making more equal to players.
Something else too that I like to do when people buy houses, if you go through and buy a house, I'd like for you to open up a ticket and let us know which house you're buying, because what I'd like to do is give the option for the player to have a blip. Like, say, if you bought a house and you want to call it Lassie's Love Shack, right? I'll put a blip on the map for you and we'll call it Lassie's Love Shack. Just so that, one, people will know where to find you. And then two, also you have a point of reference. Because I've been doing this for almost 2 years now and I still get turned around on the map, right? But yeah, just another option for you guys if anyone's interested, of course.
Sorry, can we just make that canon real quick? Can we just?
Lassie's Love Shack.
That's where those gifts my sexy too.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
John Wayne Dwayne on Twitch says he wants a blip that says Texas.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be at the fort, homie. So yeah, if we need, we can put us a fort, a blip out there.
Can you put a blip
Fort
on
Texas.
his personal chamber pot?
Yes, yeah.
Yay.
All right. Let's see. Will there be elected positions such as governor, mayor? Yeah, I touched on this a while ago. There certainly will be elected positions there. And then when the time comes around, what I'd like to do is have people kick off election campaigns. Right? If you want to be sheriff, start campaigning. So the admins will not get involved in elections. All right. Let me say that again. The admins will not get involved in elections. Right? If if you win the election, it's because the people voted for you, and that's the way that that I want it, and that's the way that it will go. All right. So there is no, oh, I lost this election because Teague didn't like the way my boots look, right, or anything like that. That's 100% not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And the
the
governor's
question
going.
before that?
Oh, sorry, just the governor, like, it will be. It's a pretty intense job because changing policy and petitioning for additional resources and wanting to change laws, like, that's all going to be handled in character. So if a law is being passed that the people don't like, well, rather than admin interference saying I think that's a bad idea, we're going the route of, well, then the people will vote your ass out. Now, granted, if the governor's like, yeah, I want to legalize murder every second Wednesday, that's gonna that's not gonna fly. But yeah, that happens every second Thursday, but or Tuesday. Yeah, thanks, PC. But yeah, anyway, sorry, Teague.
Smelly, I'm sorry, I skipped number 6. So is there a sense of what kind of economy you're aiming for? So since you put in the work on the economy, you wanna take that one?
Yeah, sure. So Teague had a economy in mind where everybody would be making roughly $75 to $100 an hour. So all jobs across the board, incredibly fair. That means you can role play your character instead of picking what's best for the money. So with that being said, just role play a character. Do what your character would do. Prices of items in the food for food, things like that have gone down. Just to make quality of life better for everyone,
Yeah. And so the economy is something that it's really hard to get right. And it's real easy to break. And I know none of you guys are going to do this, right? Because they're all super cool. But don't break the economy. Because one of the things I don't want to do, I really don't want to do, is a server wipe or an economy wipe, right? Because that is just demoralizing. As it sits right now, I have no intention to wipe the server as whenever we transition from friends and family to a live launch. All right. So please keep that in mind. Don't make me do it. Don't make me hurt you. No, I'm joking. So yeah, just keep that in mind as you guys go through and you're setting your characters up, right? I want to be here for you guys, but you got to make sure that you guys are here for us, right? So help us out. Next, what sort of filling are you guys aiming for when it comes to court cases? Rich, I'm going to let you take that one, man.
I think we touched a bit on it, but yeah, like I said, the people involved in judicial are incredibly talented and really smart, and we've all created this period appropriate system we'd like to see as much RP happen through judicial as possible. Like I was previously saying, we don't want the RP to end in the cell. Like, that's super lame. We want the RP to foster that story, and court cases are a huge part of it. So we would like to see as many appropriate cases as possible. We would like to see frivolous cases where, Vincenzo Moretti said that my character smelled, and then I take him for, slandering my name. Things like that, like the whole cross section of it. It doesn't always have to be super intense.
Even better, we can all sue Rich because he smells.
There you
Listen,
go.
that's some meta, Morg.
That's called a public nuisance, which Rich obviously is. I'll run that case.
But so we would like to see as much historical accuracy, as much fun and storytelling as possible. Like the RP doesn't end in the cells; it should continue.
And one thing to keep in mind is, if you get caught like red-handed, killing an NPC, or you beating somebody in the middle of the street, or I don't know, something silly. While we certainly want court RP, don't lawyer up for little stuff. Like, if you've got a 5-minute sentence, there's please don't request a lawyer in a trial. Unless you guys disagree with me, but the small things like that, I don't need to go to trial. But
no, it's we're going for that accurate thing, right? It's not going to be like, the chain of custody and no, it's 18. It's the 19th
I
century.
am a
the tail
sovereign
end of it.
citizen.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just get my iPhone 1899 out. No, none of that. Like, we're really wanting to create a immersive environment for crims, LEOs, and judicial, and that can only happen when folks go with that RP. And like Teague was saying, a court case going for that kind of thing. I wish, Tricky, could you maybe talk about the process?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'll start it at a very, I guess, early stage in terms of how lawyers, or how I foresee lawyers working, which is, without being gatekeepy or anything like that, there will be a law school. Anyone who wants to be a prosecutor or a lawyer will have to clerk under another prosecutor or lawyer until they build up a practice, because that's what being a lawyer is. It's about building a practice. And in essence, there'll be a law school over the course of about 4 weeks. You learn about how to, run a trial, what the court process is like, what if someone's charged with murder, what the elements of the murder are, how you use precedents, how you argue in court, things like that. And at the end of sort of 4 weeks, there'll be a test in character. There'll be a little mini bar exam, if you will. And after that, if you pass, then you can obviously be a lawyer and go for your life. The public defender's office wasn't established, I think, until 1913 or 1912. So you're going to be charging for your services. And if someone doesn't pay up, it's a matter for you in character how you want to deal with that. I think there's a video of what happens when you don't. Yeah, I was going to say, there's a video floating around of what happens when you don't pay your lawyer. Now, in terms of clerks as well, I should mention that there'll be 2 separate clerks. So for those who are on Sundance, you'll remember that you kind of clerked as, doing business licenses and things like that. And then you sort of went further and did law clerk, in essence, like sort of that's your line. This is going to be separate. So if you clerk for a lawyer, you clerk for a lawyer. If you want to be like a roaming RMS, or I'm not sure what the Americans call it, where you get your driver's license and things. If you want to be a roaming person who just does business license, that's a separate thing. But lawsuits are there. If you want to sue someone for wrongfully selling a horse or overcharging you, you can do that. If you get charged for murder and you think you have a good case, take it to a lawyer. The lawyer might tell you have shit all luck and take a plea. That's his legal advice. You can take it or leave it, and you can always self-rep. I think that is good, unless anyone has anything further they want me to add on.
I think you did it, boss.
Cheers.
Okay, what next? The plan for the criminal side of things. So with criminal elements, yeah, there's store robberies, bank robberies, player robberies, and then just whatever shenanigans you can. Well, not shenanigans, but just anything that you can think of to be a criminal, right? We'll certainly try and support that as much as possible. And eventually, we'll have horse theft and things like that. Right now, you have to go through like just it's a really really mechanical process. If anyone has stolen a horse on another server with that has a similar stable script as us, and you know how it goes. But the idea is to balance both the criminal side of things and the LEOs, right? So we certainly don't want our LEOs running ragged around the map. But then we also don't want to put our criminals at a disadvantage either. But always open to recommendations as far as ways to improve things or different criminal elements we can add. Will jobs be exclusive? The only if by exclusive you mean allowed listed, yes. They won't be exclusive to different clicks or people on the server or anything like that. A lot of the stuff is just going to come it'll be first come first serve basis. As we already went through what type of allowed listed jobs. As far as groups are concerned, we really don't have any specialized groups, so not much to actually not really anything to speak to on that. Wardrobes, no. So I'm not a fan of the traditional wardrobe. I will give you guys an option, right? If the majority come through and say, "Hey, Teague, I hate this new system," we can certainly pivot back to wardrobes. But what I've done is I've taken the hard-coded wardrobe spaces off the map. You can now access your saved outfits by executing the outfits command. This allows you to change clothes anywhere on the map. We ask that I do ask that you be responsible, right? Don't change clothes in the middle of Valentine. If you do need to change clothes, go into a room, right, and you pick your outfit. Or if it would make sense that people would carry a change of clothes on their horses, right? So go to your horse, get outfits, and do a couple of slash me's, does this and that, and then change your clothes. One thing that I do ask with this is if you've committed a crime, don't go up the road 2 seconds and change your outfit and then deny. It's like, oh no, that wasn't me. I was wearing a blue shirt, or anything like that, right? Make sure that that you're a responsible criminal. Branching will not be a thing in the very beginning. Morgan and I are going to noodle on a improved ranching script. I'm not I don't have any timelines to commit to because that's going to be a pretty huge build for the both of us. But it will eventually. I can't commit to when that'll be dropping. Player statuses, yeah. So you still have the slash status that sticks to your pet until you cancel it. In-game shareable notebooks and player journals. Well, that actually already is a thing. So if you go to the Telegram office and you buy a notebook and you hit J, you have the ability to create notes. You in turn can then take and drop those notes. Other people can pick them up if you want to pass notes around to other players or keep them for your personal reference. As far as LEOs go, all of the LEOs are familiar with the MDT system that or the in-game record system that that is currently available, which is super cool, by the way. Well, there'll be story mode horses will be available to buy in the stables. But keep in mind those story mode horses are going to be one of the money sinks that we have on the server. So if you go in there and you see a price and it's 10 times the other price of the horses, don't freak out. That's just a money sink, right? I think we were all in agreement that money sinks are a necessity. But yes, so they are available to the players, just at an elevated price.
There's a horse limit as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a horse limit. That's another thing I didn't touch on. There's also a character limit. So players are only able to have 2 characters. So I've reduced the character slots from like the traditional 4 down to 2. Happy to field any questions on that you guys might have, but keep that in mind. Can we have a channel that people in the community would like and wouldn't like? Yeah, so we'll have a feedback channel as long as it doesn't turn into venting or argument or anything like that. We'll certainly put in a channel for that.
Yeah, and
Is there Bison? I'm sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Teague. Sorry. I know there was a question in the community meeting questions thing around additional tags. We don't have any plans for like LGBTQ tags, mental health tags, and things of that nature at this time.
And
So go
happy
ahead,
to
Teague.
discuss the reasoning behind that, if whoever asked that question wants to. But in short, I don't want. Right now, we've got a very small community. But as we expand things, I don't want to put people in a position where they could potentially become a target for any type of toxicity or animosity. But it's something that it's also flexible, right? That's my stance right now. But I'm certainly open to conversation. As far as Bison go, Franklin, I know this is your question, but what I put a lot of thought into this, man. And actually, what's happening is the storyline that we're going to roll with as part of the server lore. The Bison have actually died out, so they're not actually going to be in game. And the reasoning behind that is because Bison actually create a lot of conflict. Some of it is silly. So we're taking we're just taking the Bison out altogether.
Wait, for real?
God damn it, Lassie! No.
Oh,
Lassie, why do you got to ruin things?
Bro.
I mean, he sounded so
Jesus
convincing.
Christ, dude.
Bro.
What the heck?
Grave robbing. Yes, grave robbing is going to be a thing. It's another part of the criminal element there. We'll be using TeamSpeak for our in-game voice. I know that some servers out there are using what is it, Morg? What are they using?
PMA or
PMA,
Mumble?
yeah, a Mumble. The issue that we have with that is it's unstable, especially whenever you get a higher pop. It's just too straining on the server, and it causes too many problems. So we'll be using TeamSpeak until a better alternative comes around. There will be fences in game, so we're going to start off with some AI fences, and we're also going to have some player fences. My goal is to eventually eliminate all AI run shops and plug players into those positions. And so we're going to experiment with something net new. So we're going to have an actual active player fence. That person, you'll be responsible for finding that person. Will character creation have height sliders? So not height sliders and less sliders in like the traditional sense. You're kind of stuck with 3 options. You've got average, short, and tall, right? For those of you that are familiar with this character creator, what I've done is I've eliminated the very short and the very tall. One, because some of it is self-serving. I always found it annoying when people created like 6-inch tall characters. I just thought that was super unrealistic. And then I also hated when people created like big Gigantor PEDs. So I'm just looking to keep it realistic.
Thanks,
But
Chad.
also, having like a huge variation in ped heights causes server is like conflict sometimes on the server. So to make things simplified, you've got average, short, tall. So we've already touched on expectations as far as medical RP is concerned. Shalom, unless you have anything else you want to tag into that.
No, there's, like I said, there was a document that we've created that for the for RPing out your injuries, being able to gauge it for yourself, how much you want to get in for. And yeah, that'll be out there for everyone to have a look at.
Okay. In-game date will be 1898. Piggy, I did see the Model Ts that you posted, and actually, funny enough, Rick and I were having a conversation earlier today. We were kind of swapping some ideas and some stuff like that, and he sent me that before he released it. I think it's super cool, but the problem with that is the Model T didn't drop until 1908, right? So if we if we push the 1908, then there'd have to be a huge time jump on the server. How closely do you intend to enforce time appropriateness? Very historically accurate. So and that one's tricky, right? So as far as server lore goes, we're recognizing the U.S. history, the history of the United States up into this date, with a couple of changes, right? So the Civil War did happen. Indian Wars, for example, all that stuff did happen. But we're asking that folks that are choosing that those specific points in history are a part of your character's background, that any animosity that those characters still harbor should be pointed toward the government versus a specific group or race or culture of people. So yeah, it's a modified version, right? We certainly don't want anyone running around throwing out racial slurs or anything like that. So everyone on the server, regardless of race, religion, creed, have equal rights. And then a lot of it is going to be yeehaw in spirit, right? Just be careful with your yees. So that's everything that I have on paper here. Do we want to jump over to community questions real quick? I think we'll go for about maybe 5 more minutes, and then we'll call it quits unless you guys want to keep going. I'm certainly okay with staying here and talking with you guys. You just let me know whenever you're tired of hearing me talk. Okay.
On the point of community questions, I'm looking at a couple of them right now. Silverstein, he has a question of will there be a lengthened day and night time cycle? Because he's seen on other servers where day may last 3 hours and night lasts 2 to 3 hours as well.
Right now it's an hour each, so it's an hour a day, an hour a night. And it's one of those things where if you guys want to switch that up, I'm certainly open to it. Morg will have to help me figure that out because right now it's just 50-50. But Morg and I
I'm going to tell y'all now that's going to feel weird.
yeah, it certainly will.
Well, so the human body is used to the day-night cycle being like 2/3 day, 1/3 night. When you start even in games, like evening that out, it just comes off weird.
Mm-hmm. And then what else we have? Will non-admin properties be available for purchase right away, or will there be a wait time buffer period to allow people to establish themselves in RP?
So everything is purchasable right now, right? But I say that, but I don't want it to be like a mad dash to get the property that you want. But yeah, everything is available right now. I toyed around with the idea of instituting a loan system to just inject some cash into the server. But I've since taken a step back on that. So basically, it's up to you guys.
Let's see. We have another question. Let's see. I've seen this happening on many servers I've been in, and I get it because everyone wanted to play a criminal at some point. What I noticed is an oversaturation of crims versus civs in law. Will that be watched over and controlled in any way to avoid civ and LEO burnout?
Yes.
Yes,
Emphatically, yes.
Yeah. Yes. But I don't want to. I don't want to tell anyone how to play their character, right? But what I will do, and I've always been like a bottom line up front guy, right? So there's never really any question into what I'm thinking. I will tell you when you're fucking up, right? So if you're playing a criminal and you're just you're just terrorizing the town, painting everything red, I'm going to give you an option to fix it, and then you're going to go away.
Escaping Sisika, is that a thing or no?
Right now, no. So Sisika, basically, whenever you sentence someone to Sisika, there's a mechanic that holds you in place. You can explore the island, but if you get too far away from Sisika, it will rubber. It's a geofence. It will just rubber band you back.
Rue asked this also, and I believe someone else doubled down on it. Are scoped weapons a thing, and if so, are they allowed or not allowed in PvP? Additionally, is the reticle on, or can people toggle it if they want to?
So the reticle, you can toggle on and off depending on your play style, right? I don't like taking the reticle away from everybody, because when you do that, you're just punishing people that follow the rules. There are a handful of third-party applications that you can use to bring that back, or hell, you can go analog and put a dot on your screen with a Sharpie or a dry erase. As far as scoped weapons, yes. So all long arms will have the ability to add a scope to them with the weapon mod system that we have. So you can put a scope on a varmint rifle if you choose to. Now, the thing about allowing scoped weapons in PvP, I think that's something that we would need to. I think we were talking about this.
We
Yeah.
do. We have a thing for it. It's per group of 6, 1.
Yes.
Only
Oh, there we
one.
go. Yes. Yeah.
And then to speak to the scopes, that is very much a premium for the gunsmith, and ultimately for the player. So you're not going to be seeing people, and I see scoped double barrel. That was the joke I made to Teague earlier.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah, and so with that, so the person that's using the scoped weapon, they need to be close enough to understand what's happening in the scenario, right? So certainly it's not going to make sense if someone's on top of a hill, excuse me, and they send their and they,
You're recording that, right? We can clip it.
yeah, no, it's fine.
Got that loud and clear.
Everybody burps, it's fine. But yeah, it's certainly not going to make sense if you're on the outskirts of Blackwater, and then you send your group in to get into a tick with the LEOs, and then you start picking them off one by one. What has to happen is the people have to announce that you're there, right? So if you're whatever reason you're on the outside, or you're outside, and your group walks into a scenario, they don't have to say, "Hey, I got a guy right over there behind that tree with a rifle pointed at you," right? You do have to say, "Hey, you make any funny moves? I got a guy up top with a rifle pointed at you," right? So you have to let the other party know that someone is there with a scoped weapon.
Let's see. Oh, are we expected to be streamer friendly on this server? For example, I want to RP playing guitar and play some audio. Would I be expected to only play non-licensed music, or no?
No. So it will be the streamer's responsibility to remove themselves from a scenario that would violate Twitch TOS, or that they find would be like a hindrance to their community, right? Um, but I will say to that point, if you know someone's streaming, please don't just run up to them and start, throwing out all kinds of obscenities or take your shirt off. Because female pets do have anatomically correct parts, right? So if you know someone's streaming, don't go out of your way to ruin their stream. But if you're just out RPing and someone comes up to you that's streaming and you're doing something that they find offensive or would jeopardize their stream, it's their responsibility to remove themselves from that scenario.
Feather hair accessories were those a thing or no?
I think so. I haven't really. I don't main a female ped, but they should be. You guys are more than welcome to just create a list of anything that you think is missing, and then we'll try and find it.
Can I say something, Teague?
And
Yeah, sure.
I just want to circle back to the music thing real quick. Well, while the server's not going out of its way to be Twitch TOS, because that's not our job. If I walk into a saloon and I hear like T Swift or something playing, I'm probably going to shoot you because I expect period appropriate music.
Yes, because people wouldn't do that, right, Piggy Wiggy? We're not going to blast music over our mic. But yeah, so keep that in mind, right? Definitely, yeah, you want to keep it period appropriate. Like if you're doing a cover on the song and you're actually playing the guitar, that's a different story. But if you're playing a record or some jazz like that, that's going to be a no go.
Let's see. MDW for law and physical warrants. What? I don't know what that means. Explain it. That was Piggy Wiggy's question.
MDW, like
Yeah.
multi donkey traps. I don't know.
Multi donkey weapons.
Like an MDT, like the
Oh, folders and stuff.
Oh yeah. There's a in-game record system for LEOs.
And let's see. I'm trying to go quick
to
here.
that to that end too. Whenever a LEO marks you as because all the LEOs are going to be jurisdictional based. Whenever a LEO puts out a warrant on you, you'll get a notification whenever you log in. It'll say that you're wanted in whatever jurisdiction, and then that area of the map is going to ping red for you. So it's like a visual representation that, hey, I'm wanted in New Hanover, West Elizabeth, wherever it is that you're wanted at.
If all properties will be going through the government for sale, will properties remain static or will they rise to incentivize a money sink?
If needed, yes. So with the economy, I fully expect it to be a fluid thing. And if we find that folks are just sitting on hordes and hordes of cash, then we will adjust as needed. It'll be a pain in the butt. I don't want to, but if it is beneficial for the overall health of the server, yes, we will.
I know way earlier, I think Cat Limpa, hello, asked this question. Will the story mode horses be made available as well or no?
Yes, we touched on that. Yes, so the story mode horses will be available. They will be one of the money sinks on the server.
And then, oh, are we gonna have PEDs and NPCs riding on the roads too?
As much as we can, right? So there is a pop density script that we're running that definitely tries to balance the PED, the AI to player ratio. Right now, I think we've got the more so on the animal side, just so that hunting isn't nerfed when the server pop gets high. But was something that we'll have to adjust as we go through.
I'll look at 3 more important ones. Will defense attorneys have access to the court record and previous decisions in order to make arguments from precedents?
Tricky.
Yeah, I can answer that. So long as there are clerks available and the judge writes up judgments, yes.
As far as records for coming straight from the LEOs, that's something that it all depend on your rapport with the LEO, right? Of course, you can go and get a warrant or I'm not overly familiar with judicial turns and subpoena those records. But there's nothing to say that if you piss off a sheriff and he destroys them, he could say, "Oh, you know what? I lost him in a horse fire, or my donkey ate him." Right?
Well, that's probably a bit too close to corruption. That's a purely hyperbolic. Yeah, that's hyperbole. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
Did
mean,
nobody say that a lawman had to be perfect?
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but once again, it's just the RP of things are going to be important. So, as a defense attorney, don't walk into a sheriff's office and automatically expect full compliance, right?
Yeah,
You've got to build that up.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of the getting, doing the interviews with the law, getting subpoenaing documents, that'll all go through in character stuff. As far as court people and keep record keeping, back in the day, considering this is a brand new state, I mean they're going to try their best, but things get lost. So if you're looking for a precedent from one of the early trials in the state, it might not be there, or it might not be as fleshed out as you expected. But as we get more clerks, more junior lawyers writing up, transcripts and things like that, they'll get more and more accurate, and then you can refer more to them in your future court cases.
Let's see. John Wayne Dwayne asked, "Will leveling camps be in?" I don't know what that is.
No, they will not. I know that that camp system is near and dear to your heart, Mr. Dwayne, but unfortunately, it will not be a thing for us.
But you did do the thing where you it deletes the grass underneath where you put your tent, so it's
Yeah, I did do the
Yeah.
thing. So there have been a lot of improvements made to the camping system, which I'll demo for those of you that want to hang around. I'll demo that a little later on.
Let's see. War paints. I can answer that. We don't have war paints in the server at this time.
So I tried.
Yes.
I found the overlay. I found the hashes, but they just looked really weird. And I will actually let me see if I could post find a screenshot and I'll post an example. I know WWRP got it sorted out, but on my side they look pretty janky.
Yeah. With blacksmiths, the only blacksmith someone can think of is McFarland's and Valentine. Would there be more put forward at workplace? Will there be more blacksmith points placed in the world?
So there is a blacksmith location in most of the towns, and you'll be able to you'll see those on the map.
Oh god, that looks terrible. Oh.
Yeah, so the war paint, it does work better with the darker skin pads, but you still have that hard line. So I wasn't able to get it 100% smooth. Maybe it's something I'll go back and revisit it, but honestly, it looked like you were about to do a show in Vegas. So I was like, I'm not doing this any justice, so let's just take it out.
Oh god. And then I think this could be maybe the last one. Did the staff team vote in favor or opposition to corruption?
Yeah, I answered that already. It was a core.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was a core value that we, pretty much the moment that we all joined, one of our first conversations was around when things like that. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I can replace that one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I was going to say right now, with everything being in its infancy, right, things are going to be by the book, and then later on we can explore things.
Okay. And I guess I can just replace that one with instead, bananas. Is Mexico going to be left bare until roleplay is there to facilitate wire maps, or are there admin plans on adding things there?
None of your business. So eventually I would like to open up Mexico, right? But we have to wait until we get our YMAP team in place to start building it up, because right now, obviously, there's nothing over there. So we will release Mexico in chunks. Of course, we would ask that there's RP there. But Mexico is going to be a completely different beast, right? It's a separate country. So, I mean, ideally, what I'd like to see is, I know a lot of people are going to use it as gang hideouts for themselves, but I'd like to see someone go over there and stand up some semblance of a government.
Mm-hmm. I guess I could answer this. Beansy asks, do you guys have any events planned out of the gates, or are they going to be player pushed? One of the things that the team came together with is that we want to avoid admins and staff basically taking the reins and pushing story or pushing something that is story wide, because quite often it ends up overshadowing um, a lot of the player based stories, especially if, say, admins try to push an event or some sort of story arc within a certain area, and eventually people start to push toward that, or they start to ignore what's going on, or things like that. So we definitely want our player base to drive the story. We don't want to give unnecessary advantages to people, spawning pins, things like that, blah blah blah. We want them to push it, and we kind of just want to be there to facilitate as necessary, but we never want to put ourselves in a position where we are essentially taking the reins on something, and instead of it being a player driven server, community based thing, it's an admin's taking lead and everyone has to follow.
Yeah, you guys remember what I said earlier about that the potential or the perception of biasness, because there is that 32 player bubble still exists. If the admins were to host an event and 32 people jump in, and you've got 32 people that are on the outside, then they're going to say, "Oh, well, we're excluded from this, and the admins are horrible." So I certainly don't want to put ourselves in a position where that happens. But with that said, I mean, I'm sure that we would all participate in your events as players, right? But we won't be hosting stuff.
Other than that, I'm looking through here to see if there's any questions that definitely need to be answered. Will horse
Can we
breeds
talk?
matter for staff? Oh, yeah.
Sorry, can we? People are asking about the Telegram boards. I know
Yes.
Lassie's answering it.
Yeah, so you'll notice whenever you guys get in game, there are notice boards or pin boards that are up in each town. Now, those boards are specific to the town that they're in. So if you're advertising a service or a product, um, you're going to want to travel to each of the pin boards in each of the different towns and put up your flyer, right? So what we're doing is we're moving away from Discord hosted flyers. And we're pushing that in game, which is ideally what we'd like to do with a lot of stuff. Just push it in game. Of course, we ask that you guys use that within reason, right? What I don't want to see are any memes or anything like that put up. There is on the back end, I can see who's posting what. So if you go and you start, put up a poster of like penises or something like that, I'm going to know you did it, right? And same thing with criminals. First, I'm going to talk to you, give you a chance to fix it. You don't fix it, then you're gone. Yeah, first thing Troy did was dick butt. But we were in testing, right? So that didn't count. But no dick butts.
Yeah, she also put it under. She misspelled Molly Wong's name. She had it under Mole. So joy.
Let's see. Rue and Taffy. This can be something, I guess, that occurs during the drop down when you try to demonstrate things for folks. Which, when he does demonstrate people, please try not to all talk at once, because it's going to be chaotic. Taffy wants to know what the emote game is going to be looking like. Are there many? Are they easy to type? Things like that. And then Rue wants to know if you could possibly demonstrate placeable scenes, because some people only came in when the new scene mechanic had been implemented, so they don't really know what the pinpoint placeable stuff looks like.
Yeah, I can certainly demo that here in a bit. I'll also show the emotes and the animations. So there are going to be a couple of different ways to execute it. You can execute it via slash commands, or you can do it via the F6 menu. So what I've done is I've created a consolidated menu for players, which covers down on emotes, animations, your overlays that Shalom was explaining, adding and removing clothing, walk styles, and stuff like that. Real quick before I forget, dueling. I've seen a couple people talk about dueling. So dueling is an option here on the server, right? It's an actual mechanic that supports it. But with that, do not duel unless you are prepared to perma your character. All right. So duels have to be sanctioned with with your through a sheriff, right? So if you have a quarrel with someone and you're calling them out, clear it with the sheriff, right? Let the sheriff set up a space for you guys to duel. But if you get in-capped in a duel, you're dead, right? If for whatever reason you guys fire off 6 shots and no one's in-capped, then okay, congratulations, you won RP that you got shot in the toe or something. But I want to make sure that everyone fully understands this. If you duel and you get in-capped, you are permed.
Hmm. Also, I guess one of the most important ones, especially seeing as how many people we've got in the community now, what is the member cap starting out for the server?
So we're going to be sitting at 128 slots. I think we've got what was our count, Rich? What's our Discord count?
124.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
including the
So we should
bots.
have more
Oof.
than enough slots on the server to facilitate everyone here now.
Other than that, oh, Banana just posted an idea they had with dueling. Would gunsmiths be able to supply wax bullets for mock duels? Obviously, still a risk for injury, such as a lost eye, but risk of perma is lessened.
I'd say no, because you don't want to be treated as
No,
a
I like straight. No,
Yeah.
no. It's no.
The whole point of
No-
a
no
duel
safety net,
is
no safety
that
net.
you and somebody have such a problem that one of you is going to die.
Yeah. No, I understand wanting to practice because you want to see what the mechanic looks like before you go live with it. But another thing too is if say you've got someone that is just giving you grief, right? And they've robbed you every time they saw you, and you just had enough. Challenge them to a duel, right? So it's kind of a way of making people face the consequences of their actions, right? And if they decline, then guess what? You've got another RP stream there. You can say, okay, well, this person's a badass when he's rolling 6 deep with his buddies, but he is a coward because he won't come face me in Valentine, right?
Treated. Other than that, I think those are the last. I think that was pretty much the last question. I see Rude typing. If it's an actual question, then we can cut it off at that point. And if anyone else has any questions or concerns, and you don't really get to them during the drop down, if you need to, you can ask in community support or open a ticket if it's that burning of a question.
Yeah, certainly. If there's any questions that were missed, it's not something that was done by design or with malicious intent. As Oob said, just open up a ticket.
Franklin is asking who's the governor.
We have no governor. So that's something that I want to just happen organically. If anyone's interested in any of those positions, open up a ticket. Let us know, right? I don't want to appoint anyone. We were going to open with a governor. Unfortunately, that player had some IRL conflicts and wasn't able to take the position, so it's open. But with that said, I want the governor to actually act like a governor, right? I don't want a governor that walks around and halfway lucid and has no idea where he or she is at, right? So the idea is we want to push political RP for people that are in that government position. So whoever does it, there's going to be some responsibility there.
I'm looking right now. Oh, Jeremiah had a question earlier. Regarding Gunsmith's concerns, if a specific explanation of how it's going to function would be great. I guess just basically trying to gauge like how difficult it will be to be a gunsmith, if you need OOC knowledge as well, things like that.
No, it's nothing of you don't have to know. So it's all done through RP, right? So if you want to be a gunsmith, the first thing you need to do is your character needs to go and find a gunsmith and see if they're taking on apprentices, and just throw yourself into that RP and RP learning from the gunsmith, right? Like asking questions about calibers and all of those things in RP. So no, you don't need like real life experience to do a thing.
But that being said, it never hurts to do a little bit of research. I mean, you should know which is the dangerous end for starters.
Lassie, what's the
Absolutely.
difference? What's the difference between a rifle and? No, sorry, it's a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Stay
God.
away from the loud end.
Commit. Other than that, I think we're done for questions. Again, open a ticket if it's that burning, or if you want something to be answered privately. Preferably general ticket, thank you. Or you could just go in community support and we'll try to answer some things there. Banana, I swear to God. What? No. You can't get a Hoya. Sorry.
All right, guys. So I think we're gonna call this one good. So thank you all for attending our first community meeting here. Hopefully this is one of many to come, and I'm certainly looking forward to interacting with you all. Once we go live, I'm going to stretch my legs, top off my tea, and then I'm gonna pop down to general chat, and then I'll do some live demos for anyone that is interested.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Does that sound good to you guys? Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta do it in that voice though.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
I'll let Teague answer that one real quick.
What's that?
Piggy Wiggy says, when can we afford to pay Rick X to be a dev here because he's amazing and they're a fanboy?
I love Rick. Rick is a really cool guy. I don't think I could afford to pay Rick to come and work with me exclusively. I don't make that type of dough, and I'm really not looking forward to selling my house to bring him on board. And plus, I think he's doing pretty good with the setup that he's got, so he wouldn't be interested in. But I know that's you say that tongue in cheek.
All right, I'm gonna go get some.
We've got a morgue
Chipotle.
anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, morgue. All right, I'm gonna go get myself
Speaking
some
of
Chipotle.
me, can I say something real quick, Teague?
Sure. Oh,
I just want to set an expectation from the dev side of things. If you have an idea, I'm sure it's wonderful. If it involves me writing code, the answer is probably no.
yes, very, very great point. So this is in our rule set, but I also want to say it while we have a live audience. Do not ping asking for custom stuff, right? So the things that Morgan and I put on the server, we put it there because it's going to benefit the majority of the server, right? We're not taking custom asks. One, because it's not fair to everyone else, and then two, it takes away from our development time when we can be focusing on other stuff, right? That's not us being being pricks or anything like that, right? We don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah, and it's mostly the second thing that I say that for. If we start allowing that, there's only two of us, and we're gonna get to the point where all we can work on is those custom asks. We won't have any time to actually add things to the server.
Yeah. Hashtag true story.
And don't be asking for the Y maps. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, very cool. Let's call this one good, guys. I need to go. I got to go pee pee. Hopefully, you've got that clipped. All right.
Yes.
So I got to go tinkle, and then I'll chat with whoever's interested in the demo in a demo here in a bit.
Sweet.
Bye,
Yay.
everyone.
Wait.
Love you guys. You're
Yeah.
wonderful.
Sun's out there. Bye bye.
All right, bye, guys.